students, today we will start our new chapter, that is your chapter number 2, meaning and importance of statistics. So basically in this chapter we will cover three topics. First one is your meaning, then your limitation and scope, and then last one is your importance. Okay, so we will cover three parts: meaning, importance, scope, limitation. Now the first one is your meaning of statistics. Firstly, statistics means aggregate of facts. When a group of numbers are used to get some information or to conduct some inquiry, that is counted as your statistics. Okay? When a group of number is used to inquire something, some information, to gain some information, to interpret some information, then we basically call it as statistics. Okay? Now statistics can be considered in 2 points. First one is your plural sense and second one is your statistical singular sense. Okay. First one is your plural sense. In plural sense, basically statistics means that you are taking a group of data which is affected by multiple causes and which are in relation to each other. Okay. A group of data which are affected by multiple causes and which are in relation to each other and have high accuracy rate. Approximately high accuracy rate is considered as your plural sense of statistical data. Okay. So basically, as Bolle has given the definition, statistics are numerical statements of facts in any department of inquiry placed in relation to each other. That means एक ग्रुप ऑफ सेट हमें लेना है नंबर्स का जो एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड हो. दे शुड बी रिलेटेड टू ईच अदर, दे शुड बी इन कनेक्शन टू ईच अदर. इट शुड नॉट हैपन दैट यू आर टेकिंग द एज ऑफ वन पर्सन एंड you are taking weight of another one. That is not related. If you are taking age of a single person, then you have to take the weight of that person only. So that will be connected with the help of a person only. If you are taking weight of one person, then you have to take the weight of complete class. If you want to check what is the average weight of class, so you will take the weight of complete class. Not like that you are taking the weight of 4 students and then you are taking the ages of 4 students, then you are taking height of 4 students and then you are calculating it. No. So basically data should be interconnected and should be in relation to each other. Furthermore, now discuss some of the features of plural sense. Okay. First one is aggregate of facts. I have simplified it. Aggregate of facts means no single data is taken or considered. Now, no single data is taken or considered means that if you are taking just one height, that will not be called as a data. That will not be termed as statistical data because you are not able to conduct any inquiry with a single figure. So that must be in group. Whether you are taking 5 or more, 10 or more, that will be a group of data and that can be termed as your statistical data. Second one is numerically expressed. Numerically expressed means the data should be in number form. That means 1, 2, 3, 1000, 2000, 4000, etc. It should be represented in the form of numbers only. It should not be represented in the form of quality. For example, if I am studying for 4 hours, so 4 hours will be conducted as statistical data because it is expressed in numerical. But if I will say that I have studied very hard, so hard is just a quality, that I have studied hard. Hard is just a quality. I cannot calculate my hardness or my beauty, my inner beauty, my courage, my fear in some kind of numbers. So whatever which can be expressed in numbers can be termed as the plural sense. Whatever which cannot be termed as in numbers, it will not be taken in the statistical data. Next one is affected by multiplicity of causes. That means the data will be influenced by a variety of factors. Now, how variety of factors? For example, if a student is learning 2 hours each day and then he is scoring 50 out of 50 marks. But after some time, if we will judge it, so we have to conclude that how he has contributed 2 hours. If he is sitting 2 hours continuously without any disturbance and taking the help of notes, etc., then he will be able to achieve good marks. But if he is sitting for 2 hours only, and in those 2 hours someone is calling him and again and again, he don't have any notes or don't have any help book or textbook to learn from, again and again his phone is ringing or someone is disturbing him. So if light is dim, so how many factors are there which will indirectly result in his bad marks? He will not be able to achieve 50 out of 50 if all the conditions are not satisfied. Similarly, if we take the example of agriculture, for say if you are taking agricultural field, so in agricultural field, if the production is 100 kg this year, so 100 kg is the production because of proper rainfall, because of proper sunlight, proper fertilizers and proper care of the crops. If you will not do the care of the crop, if there is no irrigation system or there is no rainfall in that particular area, so what will happen? You will not be able to get good quality crops and you will not be able to get 100 kg crops. It may be 50 kg or 40 kg or 70 kg. It can vary from time to time. Next one is reasonably accurate. Now reasonably accurate means the data will be reasonably accurate. That means it will not be perfect. For example, if you will say 4, so it is not considered as 4 only. It can be approximate value also. For say if you have got 3.77. So instead of writing 3.77, you are writing it approximately 4. Okay, so it can be reasonably accurate because sometimes it is judged on the basis of sampling. आप इसको estimate के basis पे भी लेते हो, इस वजह से अगर आप एस्टिमेट के बेसिस पे ले रहे हो तो वो सिर्फ आपका जनरली एक्यूरेट होगा. कंप्लीटली आपने इसको कैलकुलेट करके, हर चीज़ कैलकुलेट करके भी आप उसको परफेक्ट नहीं निकाल सकते. नेक्स्ट वन इज प्लेस्ड इन रिलेशन टू ईच अदर. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इट इन द पार्ट ऑफ डेफिनेशन. Relation to each other means that when you are connecting the data by each other. For example, if you are taking the height of a particular student, so you are taking the height of complete class. If you are taking marks of maths, so you will take the marks of maths only. You are not supposed to compare maths marks with someone's science marks. If you are comparing, so you have to compare math marks with math marks only. So basically, it supports comparison also. Last one is your predetermined purpose. Predetermined purpose means whenever you are conducting some of the statistical inquiry, there should be a pre-motive or pre-objective. Predefined objective should be there. It is not like that you are going to a class and you are just collecting the numbers itself without any reason. That data will be wasteful, your time will be wasteful and no one will be interested. But if you are conducting the inquiry for some specific reason, then only you will be able to collect the data which is required. You will be able to deduct the unnecessary data and unnecessary problems. So here ends the concept of your plural science. Now comes your statistics as a method. This is a very important question. Statistics as a method means in a singular sense. In plural sense, we have discussed that statistics is a group of data. It can be affected by multiple causes. It can be affected by the accuracy or time period, etc. Should be preoccupied purpose. But in method, that means a process. That how you are supposed to collect the statistical data and how you are supposed to use it. So, in singular sense, it refers to statistic or method relating to collection, classification, presentation, analysis and interpretation of quantitative data. Remember that quantitative data, we have studied it in plural sense also. That means quantitative means you are actually acquiring only the data which can be transferred in the form of numbers. You are not taking beauty, hard work, courage, fear, feelings, etc. in statistics. Now there is a process. Firstly, for any conduction of the data, you will collect the data. If you want to survey something, if you want to collect anything, if you want to check anything, if you want to compare anything, firstly you should collect the data. अगर आपके पास डाटा ही नहीं होगा, so how will you able to inquire it or judge it? Okay, so let's take an example of your school. That will be more beneficial because you all are actually aware about the school processes. Okay. Now first one is the collection of data. Collection of data means that you are collecting the data randomly or by census. Census means that from a particular student, from each and every student you are collecting the data. Sampling means you are taking the data from the complete class. You are not taking data from complete class, instead you are taking the data from 2 to 3 students from the class. आप कुछ बच्चों को निकाल के उनसे डाटा कलेक्ट कर रहे हो, so that will be termed as your collection of data by sampling technique. Okay, so next one is your, now how the collection of data related to school, as I have told you that you just learn the school word. Okay, so in school, if you are asking about your report card, if you are asking about your percentages or improvement of a student, okay, so firstly what you have to do, you have to collect the marks of the student. So collection of data means you are collecting the marks of student. Now second one is organizing the data. Now you have to organize it. You have to organize in the form of you have to sort it. For example, if you are sorting it with the help of your years, 2014, then 2015, then 2016, or you are sorting it with the help of your tally bars, or you are sorting it with the help of ascending order or descending order, likewise. Okay, so in school, for example, if I have collected the data, now I will organize it in the form of PA1, PA2, PA3, PA4, or SA1, SA2, जो summative assessment 1, summative assessment 2. Okay, so I am basically classifying the data or organizing the data. Then the next one is your presentation of data. Now what is presentation of data? Presentation of data means that I am presenting the data in the form of diagrams, tables, graph, pie chart, etc. Okay. For say, in some of the report cards, at the back side of the report card, there is a pie chart which shows that how hard working a student is, how much percentage of marks he has got in maths, how much percent of marks he has got in science. That means in what particular subject he is brilliant and in what particular subject he is lacking. Okay, so I am basically representing the data in the form of tables, graphs and diagrams. Next one is your analysis of data. Analysis of data means that you are analyzing it. Now you are applying some mathematical formulas or statistical formula on your data. For example, if I have collected your data, now after the collection I will organize it PA1, PA2, PA3. Then I am preparing a table and in that table I am recording the data. Now what I will do, I will calculate the average, I will calculate the percentage, how much percentage you have scored in the particular year. Okay, so that percentage calculation is analysis of data. You will analyze the data. And the last one is interpretation of data. That means you will conclude now. What you will conclude? For example, if you have scored 98% this year, but in last year you have scored 86%, then it will help in the concluding that this year you have done very good job instead of last year. Okay, and basically it will be helpful in degree of relationship between different variables. That means how different variables are supporting in nature. Whether you are scoring good marks in this year, you have done hard work or not, you have secured good marks or not, you will be praised or not. So that will be the conclusion of the data. So conclusion of the data is known as your interpretation of data. Moving toward next point is your importance of statistics. Now importance of statistics means that how statistics is useful in our life. Basically we have covered meaning of statistics in the form of plural sense and singular sense. Now we should learn about how the statistics is useful for us. So statistics is useful in different type of sectors and in different ways. Okay, so let's start. First point is to government, that how statistics is useful for government. Speaking about the government, to government it helps to maintain record of population, economic progress, market rates, etc. That means what government is doing, government is taking time to time census. They are collecting the population record. They are checking whether in this year economic is rising or not rising, whether in this year you are gaining or you are losing something. So this is basically the use of statistics in government. That government will take the record, government will check whether we are economically progressing or not progressing. Government will check the population rate, whether the population is rising or decreasing, or what are the factors that are affecting the population. Then it checks the market rates, that what is the rate of market by now, whether inflation is there, whether deflation is there, how much price is rising in petrols, how much price is rising in gold, etc. Okay, so that's how statistics is utilized in government. Second one is in economics. Now economics is our subject, main subject, so you can conclude it by yourself whenever you are using economics. Now in basically microeconomics, there are so many chapters in which you are actually calculating the data. For example, your utility function, you are checking the satisfaction with the help of utilities. So that is also what it is actually the part of statistics. Okay. To formulate economic laws हमें बनाने में help करती है. How it helps in economic laws? For example, if I am making some kind of law for the economy of this year, that I should raise the demand of petrol or I should decrease the demand of petrol, that is the need of our. If I want to decrease the demand of petrol, so what type of changes I have to make so that people can shift from petrol to other type of oil or other type of your power source. Okay, so that is basically I am finding substitutes for that goal. I am finding substitute, that means I am changing petrol needs to some other needs. So for that we need economic laws, we need demand theory, supply theories are basically a part of your statistics. To understand and solving economic problems like poverty, unemployment, now we have to understand different kind of problems also. Logically, for example, poverty is the high need of the country. Poverty should be considered as a very important part of the economy, that how to eradicate poverty, how to absolutely remove poverty from our India. So basically what we have to do, we have to check on the data, that how much we have progressed this year, how much people are still below poverty line or how much are above poverty line. So basically what we are using data, and data is a part of your statistics. Next one is study market structure. There are different type of markets. For example, your monopoly, monopolistic competition, perfect competition, oligopoly, duopoly. So how you are actually recognizing them, how you are making strategies for them is also a part of your statistics, and that is how statistics is important in your economics. Moving to our next one is your in economic planning. Now we have studied about that, okay, economics is helpful in checking out, but how it is help in economic planning, that is analyzing the amount of various resources available, check inflation rate, etc. Now we have to learn that in economics there are certain of the measures which we have to take so that our poverty can be eradicated, inflation rate can be decreased, हमारा जो करेंसी है जो बार बार डीवैल्यू हो रहा है या फिर डेप्रिशिएट हो रहा है, so how to control it, how to control the flow of foreign exchange, how to control the currency rate in India. So there are so many problems which we have to solve. So basically it helps in economic planning. For example, if this year the graph is showing that we are exceeding, अगर हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स वी आर इम्प्रूविंग, हम बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, हम सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट बन रहे हैं. बट इफ द ग्राफ इज शोइंग दैट आवर इम्पोर्ट्स आर वेरी मच, हम दूसरी कंट्री से इम्पोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हम दूसरी कंट्री के गुड्स के ऊपर डिपेंड कर रहे हैं, सो दैट मीन्स वी नीड टू चेक ऑन दैट वी नीड टू conclude that this is not good for our economy, we have to stop that and we have to make our own goods. For example, in current time, for that in your COVID-19, as it is all over in India as well as in world, so what basically countries are doing, they are doing now self-dependency. So it will help not only to generate income in the country, to generate employment rate in the economy, but it will also help to push the economy in a positive direction. Last one, and in business, how economics is helpful in business. Now economics is how statistics is helpful in business. Now whenever you want to start a business, what you will see that whether I will be able to make profit in this business or not. Now profit is analyzed in the terms of numbers and group of numbers only, that okay, if I will expand my business in this direction, then I will gain this profit. You will firstly study different type of markets, that okay, in this market I can generate this kind of profit, in this market I can generate this kind of profit. So what you are actually doing, you are studying the data which is used as business progress. Okay, making different market strategies, analyzing demand of product, supply of product, analyzing or accounting and audits are basically a part of your statistics and economics. Then the next one is your limitation of statistics. Now we have studied meaning of statistics, plural sense, singular sense. We have covered up our importance of statistics as well. Now moving toward the limitations. Whatever we have studied as the features of plural sense will be conducted as a limitation of statistics also. Okay, you can convert them. आप उन्हीं चीज़ों को convert कर सकते हो. How you can convert? Let's check. First one is study of numerical facts only. हमने वहाँ पढ़ा था it will study only numerical facts, quantitative data. That means quality is completely ignored. That is the limitation. Limitation कैसी हुई? मैं कितना हार्ड वर्क कर रही हूँ, कितने डेडिकेशन से काम कर रही हूँ या नहीं कर रही हूँ, इससे मेरे डाटा पे बहुत इम्पैक्ट आता है. ओके, एंड इफ it is impacting my data, that means it should be part of statistics. उसे statistics का part होना चाहिए था, पर वो है नहीं. So we are taking only numerical data. We are not considering any type of feeling or any kind of quality in statistics. Next one is your study of aggregates only. Study of aggregates will evaluate as that you cannot judge a single data as statistics. आपको एक group of data ही लेना पड़ेगा. You cannot consider a single data as a statistics. Next one is results are truly only on an average. आपके results जो है वो सिर्फ average पे ही true होते हैं. आपके results जो है वो सिर्फ basically on average और approximation पे ठीक होते हैं. They are not actually correct. Now without reference result may prove to be wrong. अगर आपने कोई reference नहीं दी, for example if I will make up my own story and then I will put it on the screen, so उसका कोई proof नहीं है मेरे पास, तो वो proof नहीं है तो वो डाटा मेरा गलत भी हो सकता है. अगर मैंने अपनी personal judgment पे कोई reference दी है या personal judgment पे कोई डाटा अपलोड कर दिया है, तो that doesn't mean कि it will be correct only. तो डाटा के पास उसकी रेफरेंस होनी चाहिए कि आपने वो डाटा कहाँ से कलेक्ट किया, कैसे कलेक्ट किया. कंप्लीट इन्फॉर्मेशन शुड बी देयर, अदरवाइज इट कैन बी प्रूव्ड रॉन्ग. नाउ नेक्स्ट वन इज कैन बी यूज्ड ओनली बाय एक्सपर्ट. नाउ व्हाट डज इट मीन? दैट इन स्टैटिस्टिक्स देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कैलकुलेशंस. आपको डिफरेंट फॉर्मूलाज लगाने पड़ते हैं, एवरेजेस फार्मूला, डेविएशन फार्मूलाज, कोरिलेशंस, index number. So what you are actually doing, you need basically expertized knowledge for that. If you are amateur, if you are just new to the statistics, you cannot calculate big formulas directly without any proper information. Last one is prone to misuse. Prone to misuse means that if you are not able to conduct the conclusion properly, अगर आपको conclusion निकालना नहीं आता properly, तो आप उस डाटा को misuse भी कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल अगर हमने कहा कि इन्फ्लेशन रेट जो है वो डिक्रीज होने लगा है धीरे धीरे, तो अब हमें ये नहीं पता कि हमने किस कंटेंट से रिलेटेड इस पे बात की है. क्या पता सामने वाले को यही ना पता हो कि व्हाट इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन. So he can signify that this is very bad for our country. वो क्या करेगा, उस चीज़ को गलत तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करके गलत तरीके से ही हमें शो करेगा. Whereas it is good for our country because inflation is decreasing day by day. So basically, if you are not expert and you don't have the acquired knowledge, you can misuse the data as and when required or as and when not required. Last topic of our chapter is distrust of statistics. Now, what is the meaning of distrust of statistics? Distrust of statistics refers to the lack of confidence in statistical data. That means that you are actually doubting the statistics. How you are doubting? Statistics don't possess some kind of principles like science and maths. वो कोई आपको थ्योरी प्रूव करके नहीं दिखा रहे यहाँ पे. ओके, इफ यू विल have chlorophyll in it, then only you will be able to make the food in the leaves, otherwise no. So you are not proving the theory with the help of statistics. You are just analyzing the data and you are just giving the data as such. स्टैटिस्टिक्स कई बार गलत भी हो सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, क्योंकि हमने डाटा कलेक्ट कैसे किया या कैसे नहीं किया ये हमें पता है. अगर हमने सामने वाले को डाटा दे दिया है, अब वो उस डाटा को यूज़ कर रहा है, तो यूज़ करते वक्त वो कुछ भी कर सकता है. उसे क्या पता कि हमने इसको स्ट्रगल करके कलेक्ट किया है या हमने उसको बस अपने मन से लिख दिया कुछ भी. तो बेसिकली वो हमें गलत कंक्लूजन भी प्रोवाइड कर सकता है. गलत कंक्लूजन प्रोवाइड हो जाएगी तो हमारा पूरा प्रोजेक्ट ही गलत हो जाएगा. हमारी इंक्वायरी विल बी ज़ीरो. सो दैट मीन्स व्हेन वी डोंट trust the statistics or when there is a lot of lack of accuracy, so there will be basically judgment in the statistics which will directly or indirectly conclude to distrust in statistics. Here your chapter ends.